Hi, welcome to MAN 3025. These first three PowerPoints are overviews of not only the beginning chapter, but also the Efficiency Initiative project that you'll be working on for the whole semester, and a little bit of an insight into what the assumptions are of your textbook, how they were thinking when they wrote it. They have done a series, the people who wrote this book have read and actually produced um, a number of experiments in which they look to what causes what. Because in management, what you want to do is to do something that creates an outcome that you want. So the basic process is often depicted as X leads to Y. Um, so X and then this little arrow means causes or leads to, and then Y is your result or your outcome. Something we do or some way we are leads to, produces a result. What we're going to learn in this semester is something. Some people have found ways that um, we get outcomes that we want in management. Maybe we want profit, maybe we want committed employees, maybe we want happy customers. What is it that we're looking to do with our management efforts, and what specifically can we do that can help us lead to the outcomes we desire? So we're looking at cause and effect all semester long. We're looking for what different causes can lead to an effect, and maybe what different effects come from different causes. So each of these is an X, each of these is a Y. So when we see cause, we think X, we think effect, we think Y. We're going to take an example to see whether we can begin to apply it to understanding what the book is talking about. Also, this is kind of a heads up on the type of project that people do for their efficiency initiative. So we're going to look for a few slides in this presentation, and then again in another presentation coming up very soon, at the example of, generally speaking, just very generally speaking at this point, X studying leads to Y learning. X is a variable, so you can do it, you can use it, you can apply it in different amounts. So there could be a little, there could be a lot. We might say that this woman is doing a lot of studying. Often with X's, we will see we use numbers. So we might say how many hours a day she studies. Also, what I want you to notice about X is that it's usually, well, maybe nearly always, can be broken down into sub parts. So these, what I'm referring to as step-by-step parts. When I give you the assignment for the efficiency initiative, you'll have step-by-step parts to it. As you go to create efficient routines, you too will create step-by-step parts. So sometimes these steps are done in a particular sequence. Sometimes they're just things that need to be done to add up. So, for example, maybe you'll get your supplies together, you have to spend time reading, maybe you'll drink some coffee to keep yourself going into the night, maybe you'll make notes. What is it that constitutes the more general term studying? Also, we can think of them as causes. So if I um, read, then I'll understand, and if I'll understand, then I'll remember, and if I remember, I'll do well on the test, and if I do well on the test, I'll know that I've learned, etc. So they are different pieces to it, and often they come in a particular order. When you have them in a particular order, what we get is routines, also known as, AKA, also known as processes. Um, Efficient and effective management often requires routines that involve scheduling. You know that you're going to do it, when you're going to do it at a particular time, that you take those step-by-step actions in order to accomplish it, and an important part of management for the entire semester that we're going to see, as well as for your project, is that we record our progress. We actually have a maxim that says we tend to repeat what gets measured. And so if we're recording the amount of time we're studying, we're recording the amount of time we're spending eating out, we're recording the amount of gasoline that it takes to run our errands, then we have a basis on which to become more efficient. And we can see whether it's actually contributing to our desired outcomes. So efficient use of, efficiency, let me put it that way. Efficiency in management refers to that we minimize our use of resources. Effective is that we maximize the customer value. So in effect, efficiency refers to the X and effectiveness refers to the Y. So we can say, are we running a cost-efficient airline here? Or we can say, do we have satisfied passengers? What about this architect? Is she making good use of her time, of her resources? Is she have satisfied, again, customers, nice buildings, safe buildings, etc.? So what are we doing in our day-to-day life with aspects of our life that we feel is important to manage in order to get the outcomes that we want? Driving, working together, planning. So again, referring to efficient use of time studying, we can notice that it's not a given. Routines can be ineffective and or inefficient. It just isn't working out. It's not, what you're doing isn't getting you the results that you want. It would be ineffective. Or maybe you're getting what you want, but it's just taking a big toll. You've got work, family, and it's really not going particularly well on one side or the other. You're having trouble keeping a balance, or you've got so much piled up that you're just not getting anything done. This would be ineffective, probably inefficient also. So let's remind ourselves, we use resources in our routine. So back to our little architect friend here. She's using time, money, paper, computers, software, education, investment in her education, back to money, office supplies, she's using space. What of these things are paying off the best, and what of these things, for example, increasingly paperless, might just be money that we wouldn't need to spend? In order to gauge our efficiency, in order to tell whether or not we are actually efficient, we measure with numbers. So this pound sign here is the number. So number, and then the slash means per. And then unit is a single thing, per 1 day, per 1 week. So 3 hours a day for studying, 4 days a week for studying. This is what we're putting into it. This is our resource input. Some other examples: miles per gallon of gasoline, hours per week of driving, dollars per month spent for the utility bill. This home is an energy efficient home, and so they measure, their utility bill and see how can we decrease our utility bill with insulation, with the way that it faces, with attic ventilation, insulated windows, etc. Let's talk for a minute about the result. Studying leads to learning. Why is our measure of effectiveness? We get to set our why. What is our intention? What is our goal? We want to have something lead to something that we desire. Then, how can we tell that we're achieving our goal? Well, we want to make sure that we're efficient so that we are not wasting energy getting the goal. And setting the why, we said this means setting our goals. Now, in order to tell whether we're getting our why, to gauge it, we rely on feedback from outside of our routine. We'll see that in a minute. Are the customers satisfied? How do you know? Is the building safe? How do you know? Are you learning? How do you know? What I want to remind you of, though, particularly in terms of your project, but also in terms of when you're a manager, X is the inside job. It's what you can be responsible for doing. You are the one who actually does it. You do the routine. You can't necessarily, in fact, you can't often control the outcome, but you can be efficient and hopefully effective with what you are doing to achieve your outcome. So We have this chain of events. Remember, we have resources lead to routines. Routines lead to outcomes. The outcomes, we get feedback, and the feedback, we make adjustments. So we do the routines, we seek feedback, we adjust as necessary, and then this should lead us to what we want in the long run. What we achieve, we can get an A on a paper, we can get a whole semester worth of A's and B's. We measure our outcome quantitatively and qualitatively. It tells how our X is working out. How's our study routine working? We get a paper leads to a semester leads to the final event, maybe that's graduation, what the achievements lead up to. Now there's my son, who just graduated in May, and I'm actually in the room he had occupied all summer with some recording equipment set up here, and this is me, and we're so proud. His achievements added up. In those cases, the feedback was what the teacher had to say, or how well you were happy with your grade, or whether or not you learned enough and remembered it, etc. In the business management, wise feedback is often customers. So, for example, satisfied customers lead to positive word of mouth. They spread the word. This is really good. You increase sales. Satisfied customers, etc. So it's called a feedback loop. So this is just assuming that X leads to Y. However, it's not purely you go, well, yeah, but what about? And this what about is everything else that might impact how X is leading to Y. Well, my daughter was sick. You have family responsibilities here. You have bosses who are asking you to work late. You have weather problems or car problems. Anything that's going to impact how well your routine is leading to your outcome, we call the external environment. For example, things don't always go as planned. Something intrudes. We don't understand how it happened, why it happened. We didn't necessarily plan for it. What we usually do isn't working out this time. And then there's always chance. Well, it just happened that way. There's nothing that falls outside of our nice XY. What we want to think about when we're managers and when we're doing the efficiency projects is what happened? How did we know? What feedback? How did we get feedback on what happened? What did we expect to happen? And then here's a key question for the whole semester. Is there a gap between what happened and what we expected? This is going to create a problem or an opportunity. You will see this question on a quiz later on. What X's contributed to what happened? And what part of the routine can we change in order to solve our problem or capitalize on our opportunity? So, principles of management overall is to develop efficient processes. Those are our X's. Look for patterns as to what X's lead to what Y's. Anticipate Z's effect on the XY connection. These are called contingency plans. What might happen that would interfere with the ability of our efficient processes to lead to the outcomes that we want? To be effective, we want to have whys, we want to have goals that provide value both to our customers and then through the feedback loop back to ourselves. To be efficient, we want to minimize what we're doing with our X's, and we want to create processes to get and use feedback. It's so important.